What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread Astaire? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. You saw it already, right? I'm jamming out. I'm getting my work done, and I'm looking forward to an exciting NBA Finals match. I know that a lot of people wanted to see the Celtics versus the Lakers, but I'm quite happy to see the Nuggets take on the Miami Heat. So I'm pretty excited about that. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Enjoyed the vacation we had. We've been off since last Friday. And I'll be honest, I really enjoy it because you know how we do, man. We do this sports stuff every day, and we put in so much work, with it being our livelihood, and also with the fact that we know that people are risking their hard-earned money on the things that we give you guys. That you really have no time because I'm a scout. You know that, Spread. I bet because I put my eyes on matches, whether it's tennis, whether it's football, basketball, USFL. I'm constantly watching sports because no different than someone who's trading stocks. I'm trying to find an edge in the market, and the only way that you're going to really make a really smart or sharp bet is with you having real information about the teams besides just the numbers. You also have to have some, actual scouting that you're doing of these teams. And I put in a lot of work on watching these games. So when I get a break, it's well needed. So I've enjoyed the break. I got a chance to take the kids on a little small little vacay, and me, kids, and the wife really had a good time. So I'm refreshed and looking forward to our second break, so we can all the way get refreshed for the NFL that's fastly approaching as all the teams are in camp right now.
Yeah, I can't wait for that too. Get a little bit of taste this week. Didn't do any shows Tuesday and Wednesday. House is getting clean. They say spring cleaning. It's more like summer cleaning for me, but definitely happy for that. But before we do that, let's get some money to spend this summer. First,
Yeah.
we'll start with the past, but of course, we are going to give you the winners. The Miami Heat. They won the series. We were both on them from the start. Close
Mhm.
to anywhere between 4.5 to 1, depending on when you got it. So we got to cash those. I love the under in that game. That hit for me as well. So overall, pretty profitable conference finals over here. What did you think when the Heat defeated Boston? I don't want to slander these guys. I saw the worst thing. Kevin O'Connor in the Ringer tried to get on Tatum for not being able to play through an injury. I'm like, what are we
Yeah.
doing, bro? Like, it's one thing
Yeah.
if you just play poorly. Like, Jaylen Brown didn't play well. And if you want to criticize his play, but to criticize him for not being able to play through an injury, it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And I think that's why a lot of these guys take nights off during the regular season because they know nobody's going to give them credit, right? If they're playing through something, but they're going to be lining up to slander them if they don't play them well. So, what did you think of that game, though?
With the Kevin O'Connor stuff, just another sign of our times, man. It's just um, people love to throw rocks from a glass house. Jason Tatum will bust his ass with one leg. So I don't know why these writers feel like they have the right when you're covering a team to take it personal as well and insult someone's character and things like that. Like, just keep it about the game, man. You can't think that you know someone's threshold for pain. You don't know what he was dealing with. But it ended up working out right for us. With Tatum getting hurt early, it was kind of omen of what was to come. I knew that the Heat weren't going to lose four straight. They're too well organized, too well coached. A thing that a lot of people didn't factor into the series was Pat Riley. Pat Riley hates the Celtics. He has a long history with them from the Lakers, Miami battles. The last thing he wanted was to be the team that allowed the Boston Celtics to make history. You're up 3-0, you should not lose four straight. Like, no professional team, I don't care what your seeding is. That's why it's never happened, because these are pros, the best in the world that are playing. And not only do they have the expertise and the skill, but they also, most of all, have the heart. That's the reason why they're at the highest professional level that you could play in the sport. So the competitiveness in these guys will not allow them to blow these type of situations, and we really benefited from the numbers just working in our favor. Like we always say with betting, if you lose five 6 straight games, then that means you might run off 12 next because numbers are going to always balance up. And if you're 60% better, the numbers are going to find their way to, get back to what they're supposed to be. And I think that's what happened with this series. The Celtics fought back. They gave a lot, but they came up short with history. And I'm so glad that we don't have to hear Boston talking about how they did this and how they came back, and it's the Red Sox all over again and all that stuff. So enjoy your riding summer, Boston fans, and we'll see what happens with that team. Did you hear about the Duncan Robinson story?
Mm-mm.
So Duncan Robinson's from Massachusetts. He's from that area. He's played on that floor, went to Boston games. His friends are big Celtics fans. One of the jerks from his high school puts him in a Celtics thread, his phone number. It's like 70 people in the thread talking about the games, and of course they're just slandering him. Remember he missed those 2 shots. He had 2 wide open looks that could have closed the series in Miami in Game 6 that he missed. He said he was getting like full blown slander, so that's why he kind of he scored 10 points and the last one was a layup, and he hit him with the little Hulkamania hand to the ear to the crowd and kind of taunted Boston because he said that they had him in a chat that he did not want to be in, a little thread. So um, good for us. We had the Heat plus 400. We had them plus 2.5 games, was cashed like the second game. So it was just a good series for us. Um, Caleb Martin, the extension of maybe a guy who can really be a number 2 on one of these squads. I look at him a lot like Jalen Brunson. Their games aren't the same, but I kind of see the stories as the same as a guy that's really has an opportunity to be a factor on the team. I think Miami probably sews him up because they're pretty smart, and who doesn't want to live in Miami? So he probably will be there, probably on a much bigger deal after this season is over with. But if he can go anywhere, I hope the Rockets would look into him because I have a feeling that Caleb Martin isn't finished um, showing the NBA world how good he really is.
Yeah, definitely. He was the story of the tournament, or the conference series. And there was even talk that he should have received the MVP ballot. And that's why I think those things are so silly. Oh,
Yeah,
well, he got the finals MVP. Well, they eat. So let's say Jimmy Butler got it. He was what, 52% of the contribution, and Martin was 48, right? I mean, it's just so silly
right,
when people. That's what the Steph Conference MVP used to really bug me. I
right,
think that those because even this year, right? Like, so Embiid got the MVP, and I don't want to relitigate that, right? But is Jokic really that much worse because he didn't get the award this
right,
year? Is Giannis or Kevin
right.
Durant really that much worse? So,
It's just
but
a,
Caleb
it's just a
Martin's,
piece of, it's just a piece of metal. It's all,
and it's just something
uh,
to get the fans talking about
yeah,
because unlike, some of the guys that I follow and I'm trying to learn, right? Most guys can't break down these things like Nate Duncan or Nikias Duncan or Steve Jones and actually tell you like, oh, well, what you're looking at here is a flare screen off a pick and roll action, right? And they're going to double this man. So they just sit there and go, oh, this guy's got a dog or,
yeah,
dog x-ray, right? I mean, because they really can't talk about the game the way it goes. And I'm not even saying that I can, but what I do is I aggregate all that information and I
yeah,
combine that with the numbers, right? And I know like, hey, Steve Jones knows more about basketball than me, right? He was the video
right,
coordinator for the Memphis Grizzlies, right? He played basketball his whole life. He went to UNLV. I don't know if you were out there then, right? But he's been
right,
around basketball his whole life. He's going to know how to diagnose a play and what defenses should be ran more than I do. But
right,
fortunately for us in this new age of the internet, these guys give us all the info. So even
yeah.
though I might not see it while I'm watching the game originally, I can listen and then go watch the tape and then understand what he's talking about. So my whole point there was that Caleb Martin did have a great series, and I'm really excited to see where this goes from here.
The
Let's
MVP
continue.
thing has to go to Butler though. Like it's just even though we know the last 2 games Martin played better than Butler, it still doesn't matter because
The
Butler kind of
intangibles.
carried that.
He's the
Yeah, and he
leader.
carried the
Yeah.
team the entire playoffs. And like we just said, trophies don't really mean anything. And I guarantee if they would have gave it to Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler wouldn't have cared at all because
Nope.
you think Robert Horry cares about? He never got an MVP, probably never got an All Star selection, maybe one, in his whole career. But when he looks at those 8 championships that he has, you think that he
Yeah.
thinks less of himself. He thinks he's right up there on par with any player in the NBA history. So we're not gonna feed too much into that.
All right, we'll be real quick on these next ones. The Astros beat
Yep.
the A's. The A's are historically bad. The
Right.
Astros rounding into form. I think they're going to be profitable this summer because
Yep.
this team, they keep losing free agents and keep doing well, right? I mean, you got to give it credit.
Best farm
Yeah,
system in baseball, best owner in baseball. He's really a baseball guy. He understands the business side. And he's also great at picking up talent. They're killing right now in Latin America. You know, it's just they know how to recruit, man. They're really good at what they do, as you see by that young pitching staff that's been together all this time. And you replaced Altuve with Dubon, so easy cash for us on the Astros -1.5.
yeah, and I'm real happy for my guy, NorCal guy, Dusty Baker, getting to enjoy
Yes,
all that
yes, yes.
success down there. We also had the
Yes,
Red Sox first five. I'm pretty sure that cash. A lot of times I don't follow
yep,
these; I just see the money in my account, and I know these all cash because you gave out the Memphis Showboats, and then you were kind enough to share with me some more USFL winners this weekend. So I
yep.
appreciate you for that. But the Memphis Showboats +3.5. What did you see in that one?
Oh, great, man. Really good game. I thought that I was dead to the water. I was in there with my son. We was watching the game, and he was helping me rooting. He was like, "You going against Houston?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to." It's a business decision. So Houston almost steals the game. I bragged all year about how great Todd Haley was and how he had an advantage on his team. He just needed a quarterback, which he has now, in Cole Kelly. But he did a really bonehead thing, man, and almost blew that game for us. They were up 3 points with the ball, third and 30, with about 2 minutes left. You're supposed to punt the ball. The defense been playing well. Just run the ball and punt. He tries to go shotgun and throw the ball. Houston blitzes, hits the quarterback, big 6'7" kid out of Southwest Louisiana, and the kid fumbles the ball. Fumbles. Houston, of course, recovers, scores in like 3 plays, and they take a 4 point lead. So not only are they about to win money line, but they're covering now all of a sudden. It's about 50 seconds left when the Showboats get the ball. They score in one play. Cole Kelly steps back. He finds Derek Dillon on a dig. This kid Dillon is electric. He took back a 110-yard or 109-yard. I guess that's the max you can go. Missed field goal return a couple weeks ago. He's had the most returns in the USFL. When he gets the ball, he's electric. And man, he just caught like a 30-yard. That was maybe 20, 25-yard dig on a comeback after he was going deep. Shook a defender, man, and just flew through the secondary and scored an amazing touchdown, and we were able to steal that one on the money line. And we'll talk about it a little bit later in the future. The books obviously are not impressed with the Showboats as we are. We have the +900 to win the championship, but we're gonna double down.
All right, I'd love to hear that. You threw one on here. Don't know specifically one on there, but you did want to talk about the French Open upsets. And the only thing I'm going to say, because you've been watching a lot more than me, you've been getting up early. I've been sleeping in. I'm Mr. Tennis Casual right now. I'm watching the
Yeah,
main event, the featured matches, right?
right.
The ones that are late in the morning, like well, actually, we got Rinder, Nick, and Fritz on right now. It's a replay, but usually the main events. But we said this, right? We previewed the draw and we talked about all these great potential quarterfinal and semifinal matches. And we said, hey, we'll be lucky to get half of them, though, because in these Grand Slams and pretty much all tennis tournaments, right? But it never is chalky. It never goes according to plan. It's why a lot of the best
Never.
tennis bettors, they love underdogs because there's so many
Yeah.
upsets. What have you thought so far about the French Open upsets? I personally love it. I think it's been a great tournament. Like I said, I've been seeing the main and the way that the draw is turning out. It's going to be a bunch of established guys versus guys that are not maybe they're pretty close and talented, but not as talented. But they're in the best form of their life.
Right, right, exactly. It's a bunch of those situations, as you said. Today, center goes down to another, as we spoke of, guys that's playing well right now. They play a lot of clay, which is Ottmeyer from Germany. He upset center today. Medvedev with one of the weakest. Go. He went out so weak. Oh my God. So we had Medvedev, as you know, Snoops and I were all over him on Bet US TV, and on 14-1. It went all the way down to 8-1. He loses in the first round, and he goes to something like I want to say 4-9 in 5 set matches. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's something of that same percentage. It's overwhelmingly to the loss side. So we're figuring out that Medvedev is one of these guys who, just like his offensive style on clay, why he has a lot of problems is because he's impatient and he likes to get things over quick. And it seems like the longer these matches go, because we know he's fit. It's not a fitness thing. It's a between the ears thing. He's a very impatient guy, ADHD type of fella. So we lost Medvedev early. We lose center early. My girl, Big Money Sloan, uh, is bright like she always does every year in the French Open. It seems like me and you do this every year. Like you like tell me before the tournament, Sloan sucks. She's terrible. And every time I say, oh, she's going to win at the French Open and the U.S. Open, and she does the same thing every time. She likes those chicks. She
Well, hey,
likes
I
those
might be
chicks at the
saying that
major.
out loud, but I haven't lost any money. I have not wagered against her at all. I just,
Good, good,
you have
good.
so much more trust in her than I do, especially in Europe. I agree with you at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
In Europe, she was really bad there for a while. She's finally learning how to play over there.
Yeah, she's really good at the French Open though. That's honestly, the U.S. Open is her best tournament because she won the championship, but I feel like she's been more consistent throughout her career at the French Open. She's went to the quarterfinals many times. She goes very deep in the tournament every year, and she has a favorable matchup today that we'll talk about, well, tomorrow that we'll talk about a little bit later as well. But just looking at the draw, I was trying to pull up the draw real fast. Let's pull up this because the bottom half of the men's draw is in pure chaos. With you got Medvedev went down center, so kind of opens things up. I want to say, I believe it's Holger Rune that has a uh, pretty good path to get into the championship. Now you got Fognini. I called that one that he was going to upset FAA. What's going on with FAA, man? He's not responding well to Tony Nadal, is he?
That was a weird situation. This might
Yeah.
be the first time ever where a coach openly said hey, but if he plays, my nephew, I'm gonna root for my nephew.
Yeah, and ever since that, it seems like he's been losing. Remember, he had
Well,
a
I
really
think
good
that would
run
be
in.
kind of weird, right? If
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
working
what was
together and you're like, oh, by the way, though, I'm not rooting for you tomorrow after you coach me all week.
So how can I
Wait,
trust
what?
you that you're gonna even
Yeah,
set me up? You're like leading me right into your
yeah.
nephew's best, offensive moves. Like, come on, man. I don't get that. But yeah, you got Rune is looking good, man. My guy Monfils came through, upsets Baez. Took him as well, gave him out to the Bet US TV group, and Monfils with an unbelievable performance. He only had one in him, the old line only had one in him, and he gave it to the home crowd in Paris, and a special match that he won in 5 set. And of course, he doesn't play the next one. He bows out. He obviously reads 48 Laws of Power. Top rules in there is always surrender. Don't ever, allow someone to defeat you. So maybe he's following that. But things are really opened up nicely for Rude and for Rune, man. At the bottom half with the big dogs gone. Dimitrov is looking better than he has in a couple of years, and he has a chance as well. So as you said, it's going to be um, upset probably from the bottom half that gets in, and then at the top you got all the big dogs still going. Interesting match with Alcaraz and Chapo. Chapo can give him some problems when he's on his game. So we'll see how that goes. But the top half is looking pretty to form and looking like Alcaraz might have to get through Musetti. Musetti's playing really well, and he has beat Alcaraz before. So a lot of interesting things going on uh, over there in Paris. On the women's side, everything is pretty much staying to pat as far as in the top seed. Sabs is still in it. She annihilated Koshuk. I'm so glad she did that. And then the reporter puts on the spot and makes her pretty much say something against the war, which is very dangerous for her. I hope she lives in America because I don't like how they try to force her to speak about politics. And we know how all countries aren't as democratic as America is, where you can just speak your mind. You know what I mean? So I hope that she's okay with everything that the reporters kind of forced her to say concerning that war situation. She's the athlete. She has nothing to do with what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine, man. And some of
They
these
annoy me. They
reporters.
act like
Oh.
like Sabalenka and Daria Kasatkina are in the freaking war room.
Like they could just say, "Stop the war now!
We're
Stop
attacking
it!
right here!" Like,
We're not playing tennis anymore. We're laying our rackets down until you stop the war." They're gonna like be like
we're gonna do
kidnapped and
the
in
boxing
prison,
ring now.
like, dude. Do you guys know who run Russia? Like, they know this guy's background. Like, they're gonna be in prison for like 10 years. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Y'all trying to set these ladies up for failure? They have nothing to do
The
with the
Russian government is
policies
the
of the
closest thing
Russian
we have
government.
to the mob. It's literally
Yes,
like the mob.
the
Organized crime runs
KGB
that
will come
country.
get you. Yes,
Yeah,
the
you just
KGB will come
disappear.
get you.
They write
What
you write
the?
an article about Putin. You never get seen from
Yeah.
again.
Why the
Yeah.
hell would they? I'm so tired of these reporters from other countries doing that lady like that. But God bless her and her family, and I hope she continues to play tennis well. Eager looking good as we expected. Pretty much getting ready on the road to come meet Rebecca. And they both seem like they're set up to meet each other in a great semifinals. That's going to be a great match. I can't wait to watch that one. So everything's going pretty good. Oh, Coco, she's going down tomorrow. I meant to tell you that. She
Yeah,
plays
I
the
watched
young
her this
girl.
morning. She played grabber.
She plays the young girl Mira Andreev, the
Oh,
young
she's
Russian
funny. She had
girl.
a great interview. Did you see it this
She's
morning?
good. She's really
And she
good, and
speaks her
she's
mind.
cocky. She's
Yeah,
cocky. She's not afraid.
yeah.
She's gonna beat Coco. So I'm telling you, she's
Well,
gonna
I don't
beat
even know
Coco.
who to
So
root for there. You know, I'm a big Coco fan, right?
I love
I
Coco,
love,
but unfortunately,
yeah.
she's gonna lose. I just gotta go by my money. So with that plus money on the young girl, I'm over there and dream. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a very good tennis tournament, and we'll continue to talk to you guys a little more about that as the weeks go by. Let's get to the present, man, and talk about the NBA Finals. I know that's what everyone tuned in today to hear what our opinion was for tonight's game.
Okay, I haven't placed a bet yet because the number keeps going in my direction. I mean, we're doing
Yeah,
this again. +9.
really.
+9. And so I figured this out. I was going on my numbers and I thought, where are they getting these from? You know, the Heat had a negative net rating in the regular season. And that's a huge
Oh
one,
yeah,
right? Because it's the margin you either win or lose by. And that's exactly what we're betting on, the margin you win or lose by. So
right.
I have it heavily weighted in mine. And I go, okay, that's where they're coming up with these numbers. But you got to throw those out the window. I mean, it's just like we talked about, they were using the Lakers' full season net rating. Why? They were a completely different team after the All-Star break. Why am I going to use the data that was when Russell Westbrook was out there?
Don't tell them, Spread.
You know where I'm going. Take it away. I think we both like I think the Nuggets win the game tonight, but that's too many points. And
That's
the money line
exactly
doesn't
too
even have
many
any
points.
value.
No value. The plus, because
Yeah.
they got it so low because they know that they can win money line, and they don't want to take a lump across the head if the Heat do win money line, because we know at +9 they should be at least what +400 tonight. So,
I
and you're
think
not
it's a
gonna find
little
that at
less,
any
but let me double check.
maybe 375, and you're not gonna find that at any shop. I guarantee you the highest number you're gonna find is probably +280 on the Heat.
Let's see what they got for me at Bookmaker. They're usually pretty good for your dogs. It's swirling here.
Good.
All right, but yeah, I mean, we both like the points. Total's 219. Are you getting involved with the total tonight?
I would go over. These teams have played over twice when they played this season. Do you know that the Nuggets have had a great history against the Heat? They've won the last 9 out of 10. But as we said, the thing
Yeah.
that's a great thing about betting sports the way that we do, while we combine the numbers, but also with our ability to watch the sport, our ability to scout these players, our ability to scout these coaches, is we'll always have an advantage on the machine. Man, I always beat the machine because the machine can't factor in emotions, uh, competitive spirit. The machine can't factor in being hot, mojo. They don't factor in any of that. It just crunches numbers, as you said, and goes by the numbers that each team has displayed all year. So we'll have a big advantage every game in this series because of that. Because when the numbers run these computers and spit things out, it's going to say that the Nuggets should be favored in every game, and we know that they're not going to win every game. So I like the Heat tonight a lot. I would not be surprised if the Heat can pull off a money line victory. The Nuggets have been sitting at home for a long time, and we know how that goes when you have a team that swept early and been, not playing for a while. Whereas in the team that's coming in from a game seven, it's been rolling. They've been playing frequently. They've been getting game action. Don't be surprised if the Heat pull an upset tonight, but for sure I like the +9.
All right. Yeah. And I think if you like the +9, it's funny. Usually taking the points correlates with the under, but I think in this game, it correlates to the over. If the Heat don't cover, it's because they're only putting up like 90 points and they're tired. And we know that teams coming off that game 7 win aren't that good against the spread. But I
No.
feel like they've just factored it in so much that, like, even knowing that, like, well, it doesn't give you an edge. I mean, it's factored into the line and then some.
And in the game seven, Miami didn't have a lot of competitive minutes. A lot of the minutes in that game, the game they kind of took control of that game midway second quarter and kind of never looked back. So with that said, I don't, you know how you playing a little bit different when you're trying to fight, come from behind, or you in a tight one. They were kind of just open gym the whole second half because they had opened up such a big lead and were shooting the ball so well. So I don't. I think more than anything that them playing those games will benefit them, and I think the Heat to come in more battle ready tonight. Nuggets first time in the finals. We'll see how they respond. I know the crowd's going to be really crunk, but Miami is a franchise that has been to a lot of finals. Eric Spoelstra has coached a lot of finals games. They'll be a little bit more prepared emotionally for this game one than the Nuggets. This is the biggest game in Nuggets franchise history.
Yeah, definitely in case. Although I don't think Spoelstra's going to have the same coaching advantage that he did in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm a big Michael Malone guy. I was upset when he left here in Sacramento, and I think he does a good job really relating to his players. Him and Cousins.
He's a good coach. He's a good coach.
I mean, he had Cousins back when Cousins was getting a lot of criticism around here for not being a good leader, and he forged a good relationship with them, and he's done that same thing here with Jokic, but at the same time, he doesn't coddle him. For example, Jokic didn't start. Nurkic used to start over Jokic, and that was Malone's
for years.
And he made him earn those playing time. So it's going to be a great series. I do think the Nuggets win. If you're going to give a full, so let's say they want to make a bet, right? Let me pull these up. The NBA series. Do they have the exact ones? What do you think? What do you think the final score will be? And I'll say what the price is at.
Well, this game?
No. For the series, like you got Nuggets in 6, Nuggets in 5.
Oh, I got Heat in 6.
You got Heat in 6?
Yeah.
Well, play that then. This is plus 985.
Sounds good then. Put it in for me.
All right. Plus 985 there. I kind of like the Nuggets in 5 at plus 211.
Okay.
But obviously there's
I think we froze up and lost spread. When he put in the plus 985, bookmakers turned off all his power